All right, we're going to start with the nation. 2023, G5 governors allies to sustain anti-Atiku moves. Gunmen kill 3 policemen in Enugu. Saudi-bound woman held with cocaine. More Nigerians seeking UK visa, says High Commissioner. 13% derivation, Wike's disclosure on settled South-South governors. Interest rates hike likely as CBN reviews indicators. Why we are backing Obi by Ohaneze. Ekiti assembly boils and cleric abducted in Kwara State. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The UK, so the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mrs. Catriona Lang, said yesterday that more Nigerians are seeking United Kingdom visas. And he said this, that the UK government is mindful of everything that's happening, mindful of the situation, and was in talks with the federal government to avoid the brain drain, because we know that we have had issues of brain drain where especially in the health sector, where a lot of the doctors are relocating to the UK to work. So she spoke in Abuja, and she was saying that they are going to be working hand in hand with the federal government on that. Also, that most Nigerians want to be in the UK because they have made their policies very accommodating and acceptable. And the fact that it's an English-speaking country, and Nigerians like to go where they have most of their people. Most Nigerians are or majority of Nigerians are in the UK. And so that's why a lot of people are coming. But they understand what we are going through, and they will be working with us directly to ensure that we don't lose all of our people trying to go to the UK to work in the UK.
Oh, okay, so Kata bus on Friday when Governor Wike...
What's that?
I got it.
Okay. So, Governor Wike on Friday busted the news when he said that President Muhammadu Buhari had paid all the pending derivatives of 13% owed since 1999 to the states, namely Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, and Akwa Ibom State. He said that part of the money he used, the 17 billion was part of which he used for the Port Harcourt campus of the Nigerian law. He also built flyovers. He also built law school and the cancer center with his money.
Yes.
He was not wondering what other governors used their money. No, Nigerians were wondering what other governors used with their money. Governor Okowa came out and said, our own is 270 billion, but I've only drawn 30 billion, of which he has used, but that the government obviously don't have the capacity to give them all the money. And yes, he also acknowledged that, yes, the money was paid. The federal government, Buhari, actually approved for the money to be paid, and the draw is based on what is needed. So, but other governors are yet to tell us, based on this report, I'm yet to see what other governors. But it will be very interesting this week, because one of the governors says he will reply that he was going to talk to the Commissioner of Information. He'll get back to us today on what he did.
I thought he would be on top of it.
No.
Since it is a major...
No, they are not usually on top.
Let us
where is our money?
So let us calm down. This week, let's give the governors this week to tell us how they use this 13%. What is interesting that Buhari, they say they don't do anything.
He don't release this money.
He has always said he did well to this country.
Wow.
Time will tell.
Okay,
interest rate is likely to go up. According to The Nation, the Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN, which usually reviews the monetary policy rates every of their meetings, is having their 288th meeting at the headquarters today. And they will be deciding whether what they decided in September is no longer viable. So in September, it's true of the same year, they increased the monetary rates from 150 basis points from 14% to 15.50%. And they raised the benchmark of interest rate to its highest level since the adoption of the MPR in December 2006. Now, the MPC has also increased cash reserve ratio from 27.50% to 32.50%, while retaining the asymmetric corridor at positive 100 to negative 700 basis points around the MPR. It also retained a liquidity rate of 30%, and this Apex Bank, between May and September 2022, raised this MPR to 400 basis points, and they're having their final meeting for this same year, 2022. I hope that the place they leave it is where they will leave it, but their job, according to one of the managing directors of Arthur Steven Asset Management, is to balance our finances. How they balance it, make them not.
Okay.
So let me quickly address the drama in Ekiti State. The current speaker of Ekiti State, who was just elected to that position last week, is crying out that he's heard of moves to impeach him from being the speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly. He also said that his life is at risk, which for me is worrisome. He said this on a political TV show, mentioning the fact that he was at a conference in Abuja and he heard news that he might be impeached. He won the votes against his rival, 15 votes to his rival, Mrs. Bumi Adeluga, who is also contesting to be the Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly. And the controversy is that some people are ganging up against him, taking away some of his supporters are now deserting him. So if they have to do the election again, he might not win, but he's already been declared the Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, and he's saying that this is going to disturb the new governor. They should let Ekiti House of Assembly run. A lot of the previous members of the House of Assembly did not get to be re-elected, and they are the ones now causing trouble within the Ekiti State House of Assembly. They should calm down, let the House support the new governor to deliver good governance to the people.
Quickly to the Punch. NFIU flags off 150 trillion naira transactions. EFCC tracks candidate spending. Pro-Fayemi lawmakers plotting my removal, say Ekiti Speaker. We just took that story. Nigeria risk flood crisis in 2023, says IMF. Zenith Bank lights up Victoria Island for Christmas. Beautiful, beautiful to see. Ohaneze endorses Obi, says it's our turn. Government abduct Kwara cleric, son demand 100 million naira ransom. Mob lynches transport bus for killing Oyo teenager. Story are we starting with?
Yes, the major headline. So the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit has flagged suspicious transactions valued at over 150 trillion between January and March 2022. According to a suspicious transaction report, suspicious activity report released on Sunday. So the development came as the EFCC and the NFIU officials said they had intensified surveillance on campaign spending by political parties and their candidates ahead of the 2023 elections. So it's between the EFCC and the NFIU that are handling these investigations, and they said they are carrying out joint operations to close in on several suspicious spending by parties, candidates, and top chieftains. They also said that the EFCC has deployed its operatives to track candidates spending money and monitor their bank accounts as part of actions to combat money laundering, because this is the time, just because the general elections is coming, a lot of money laundering will be going on that in guise of moving money for politics and all that. So they went ahead to list all the different agencies and the amount of money that they have covered so far.
So IMF is speaking again. They said that Nigeria should brace up that by 2023, due to recent floods and high fertilizer prices, that were likely to have a hike in food prices. They specifically said that the volatility in the value of the naira, the federal government's continued dependence on Central Bank of Nigeria for financing its budget deficit, and the climate change were all risk factors that would cause the food hike in prices. They said the effects of recent flooding, high fertilizer prices are becoming more entrenched, impacting negatively both on agricultural produce and food prices. So that's what IMF is telling us. Okay.
Not interesting, the Punch. The mob attack lynched a transport bus for killing Oyo teenager. So, according to the details of this report, this person, who is supposedly was initially insinuated to be member of the parks management system in Oyo State, was, touting, trying to take money from a motorcyclist, and then that was resisted. He brought out a gun, and then there was a struggle between himself and the motorcyclist for who will control the gun. So they shot a stray bullet and killed a young boy who was passing by. Yeah. And because of the death of the boy, the mob lynched him, beat him to death, and set his body ablaze.
Why?
But the parks management system in Moyo State have come out to say that he's not a member of that. The spokesperson for the park system says he's not a member, and that, it is smear campaign against their body for him to be linked to their body. But in every way, this is a sad story.
So I'm taking the story on the gas. And this is a special feature in Punch about how gas prices is being hiked based on middlemen. And I had to, the story was very detailed in that NLNG supplies Nigeria most of its gas, 100% of its butane into the markets, Nigeria. And that this was a policy that the former governor, Obasanjo, created so that we don't lack gas. But the scoop of the story is that NLNG would supply middlemen. It would supply the foreign firms such as NIMCO, Navgas, and some other local depot owners at 6 million per 20,000 metric tons. But they then sell to other distributors at 12.8 million per 20,000 metric tons. That's over 100% in price. And that is the real reason for the hike in cooking gas. The cooking gas used to be 3,500 as at for 12 kg in 2019, but right now 10,000 to 11,000, saying that many Nigerians are unable to, even 12,000 depending on the location you are buying from, and many Nigerians can no longer afford to use the cooking gas, which is a cleaner energy, and are resorting to coal and firewood, and that it is linked to the fact that there is an inflation of price between the middlemen. They are calling for investigation of these depot owners that they get you can't get crude oil, you can't get gas for 6 million and be selling for 12.8 million. That even if you are adding your storage costs, it shouldn't be that high, and they should explain how the price jumps like that.
Okay, moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Military gets ordered to tame terrorists before elections. Why we endorse Peter Obi by Ohaneze. Excitement as World Cup begins in Qatar. Protest as North gets lion's share in National Assembly new appointments. Lekki-Ekpe corridor may be washed away by 2024, says NCF. PDP crisis, Wike allies meet in Lagos form integrity group. Insecurity, unemployment will determine how rural Nigerians vote, says survey. Hope rises for increased production of as Buhari flags off oil exploration in Bauchi and Gombe. Okay, which story?
So, Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, according to the NCF, the DG of the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, Dr. Joseph Onoja, he was speaking at the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the foundation, and he said that they've been monitoring via drone the corridor of the Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, starting from the Lafia G-axis with drones from 2018 to 2022, and they have house marks, and they compare the pictures that they see periodically with the Google pictures of what used to be, and they see constantly that the ocean is encroaching.
Wow.
By 2024, he says that if care is not taken to stem what is happening right now, Nigerians being deliberate about how they live along nature, the ocean will get to the expressway itself. And yes, the ocean will get to the expressway itself, and that this monitoring that they have done over time, they've continued to see how close, presently, one of the houses that they, to measure the meter, the ocean is already at the doorstep of the house, just between 2018 and 2022. It's worrisome for me. Right. But, I know if Miriam was here, she would take this story quickly. She's a...
Okay, let's take another story. I was going to take the story, Governor Wike. I love Governor Wike. So the G5, he's the one leading the G5 governors. That's of the PDP. That's Oyo State, Benue, Enugu, Abia, and River State. And they're not troublemakers, so they call themselves the Integrity Group.
They've rebranded.
So they came to Lagos and said that they came to just discuss their party issues. I say we're in the Southwest to review the situation within our party, to review where we are and how, and also look into what is going to happen in the upcoming elections. And they're standing on the fact that IU must resign and saying that for the sake of equity, the government insisted that the national chairman, PDP of Yocha, you must resign in order to maintain balance and equity after the emergence of the northern candidate. Other PDP leaders like, I think it was Bode George, I'm trying to see the list. Yes, we have the former governors of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, and a whole bunch of other leaders were all in Lagos saying that they're insisting on their stance and hoping that they are also opening the door of renegotiation is still open, and they are willing to also reconcile with the party. Okay,
so Ohaneze Igboora said his decision to back the presidential bid of the candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, was constant, consistent, and clear, without any form of equivocation whatsoever. So the President General of the Ohaneze, George Obiozo, yesterday stated that the group's position was consistent with the resolution of the Chief Edwin Clark-led Southern Middle Belt Forum, comprising of Afenifere, Pandev, Middle Belt leaders, and Ohaneze Ndigbo. And he explained that going by the principles of zoning and rotation of power in the country, which took effect from 1999, it was the turn of the Southeast to produce the president for next year. And he said that the support was not just based on equity and justice, but also on merit, competence, track record of accomplishment, and the veritable ideas of the candidate that espouses for a better Nigeria. They said they have gone round, they sought from, you know, high-meaning Nigerians, and they are happy with the sort of support they are getting so far from those people. That a lot of people have said that the LP does not have the structure, but this is a fight against the structure that has kept us in unemployment, lack of education, and all the evils that bedevil us as a country. This is a fight for maybe a revolution for a better Nigeria, one Nigeria.
So let me take the story still linked to the 2023 election. Next year, a policy think tank did a survey of about 2,000 people across different 12 states, cutting across 12 states of Nigeria. They asked them questions concerning how they are going to vote, why they are going to vote, and the results showed that unemployment, insecurity, weak economy, poor governance is a major influence on how people are voting. About 8 out of 10 of the respondents said that they might change their mind, but for now, they are not happy with the direction the country is going into. And they just more details. I think it's just a conduct survey, so you get to an idea of how people actually feel about the government at hand.
Quickly now to Vanguard, let's find a few stories we've not taken. How politicians still threaten credible polls, says INEC source. 2023, it's the turn of Southeast. We talked about that already. Zenith Bank heralds Yuletide season with just at the good Christmas lights up. Stop hallucinating. You have no mandate to retrieve. Adeleke tells Oyetola, I won't step down for anybody. NPP's party to beat, says Kwakonso. Gunmen kidnap Kwara cleric, son, sibling, demand 100 million naira. And I think that's the only story we've not taken. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so 3 persons, Sofiu Amolegbe, his son Aliyu, and his sibling Fasasi, were reportedly kidnapped this weekend by gunmen at their private residence in Okolowo along Ilori-Jeba Expressway in Moro local government area. So they said the kidnappers removed the anti-burglary that was proof of the window in the house and got in, and they, took them. While the other guy, Fasasi, was trying to wrestle with the kidnappers, they shot him several times, used cutlass on him, and left him for dead and left. But I don't think he died. He was quickly rushed to the hospital. Now, they're asking them for 100 million naira as a ransom to be paid to them. But the family is appealing and saying that they only have 10 million, which they don't even have. They were just trying to see how they can, get it across to them. So they're appealing to the federal government to do something and help rescue these young men.
We have to wrap up, but...
I wanted to take Qatar hosting the World Cup.
Yeah.
So they did the opening ceremony yesterday.
And our very own.
I'm just grateful that Qatar represented the Arab world at the World Cup opening.
There's a lot of opposition about this capacity.
There are so many Arab countries.
Yeah.
No, they are true to their values, unapologetic. I am proud to be a Muslim at this time. Every area you go to in Qatar, you see the Islamic values preached in a way that you won't forget. It's going to continue to be a reference point for most people who don't know a thing about Islam.
Fantastic.
Good that Qatar is the one that is hosting.
Okay, fantastic. I like that.